Are you aware that the last date to avail ITC for the last financial year is soon coming to a close? Have you committed any errors or omissions or mistakes in your last year's GST returns? Do you know that September is your last chance to correct it? Let's discuss this and much more in this video today. This is CA Apurva Jaisama and you're with me on G for GST. You could be a professional, an entrepreneur, a businessman, a student, a CFO, or anybody who's got something to do with GST, then consider subscribing to my channel. We make videos every other week and our content ranges from bare basics to intricate nuances of the GST laws. Hit the bell icon so that you know when our next video is out. Let's get started. In this video today, we are going to discuss what are all the checkpoints that you need to close before filing the September month's GST return. But first, let's get the basic things out of the question. When is September month's return due? Just like any other month, September return is also due in the month of October. GSTR-01 for September is due on 11th of October and GSTR-3B of September is due on 20th of October. Now, at this point of time, I do not exactly know whether there are going to be any extensions in this return filing considering the massive economic disruptions that COVID second wave has caused. But for the time being, I'm not also going to anticipate any. We are going to proceed assuming the status quo. So the first in the line of corrections and rectifications that you can make in September return is to rectify the mistakes that have happened in your monthly GST returns, at least on the sales front. Right? So there could be a plenty of mistakes that are committed in your monthly GST returns. Like, for example, you could have reported an invoice in your GSTR-1 but forgot to pay the tax on it in 3B. Vice versa, you could have paid tax in 3B but eventually the invoice got cancelled and you did not make any rectifications in your GSTR-1. Similarly, there could be umpteen errors which could have resulted in wrong payment of tax. For example, you were liable to pay IGST but inadvertently ended up paying CGST, SGST. Also, there could be numerous instances where a B2B invoice was inadvertently reported as a B2C transaction. Resultantly, your customer is now behind your life asking you to rectify so that it will auto-populate for him. Now, whatever could be the error, rectification lies in the return of September. So, what is the action point for you as a business before filing your September month's return? So first things first, undertake a reconciliation between your GSTR-1 and 3B so that you can identify and establish if there are any errors regarding short payment or excess payment of tax in your monthly returns and you can make the adjustments or pay up the dues in your September return. Next in line is for you to send out a communication to all your clients, asking them whether they have any concerns with regard to the input tax credit that is auto-populated to them from your invoices. Any kind of rectifications, any kind of non-auto-population due to B2C reporting, all of this can be rectified in the GSTR-1 for the month of September. Next aspect is identification of missed ITC. Now, if this is not important, I don't know what else is. The concept of missed ITC basically arises because there could be instances where you have invoices on which you have not taken input tax credit. Now, why did not take input tax credit? The reasons again are aplenty. Your supplier may not have issued the invoice, or he may have issued the invoice but the invoice never reached you. Or you may have accounted the invoice but forgot to avail the ITC of it. Or you may have accounted the invoice with the GST element not hitting the ITC GL. Resultantly, ITC is there in your books of accounts, but it's not there in your GST returns. Now, one of the most common reasons why we come across instances of missed ITC is the concept of backdated entries. Many a times it so happens that the accounts team receives the invoice for accounting after the GST return for the month is filed. Now, due to the practice of backdated accounting, what essentially happens is that the invoice and the ITC gets posted in books of accounts after the due date of filing the return, or rather after the return is filed. So this leads to instances where input tax credit is accounted in books, but it's nowhere to be seen in your GST returns. Now, what should you as a business do in order to identify and avail this missed input tax credit? The answer is twofold. First things first. undertake a reconciliation of the input tax credit that has been accounted in your books of accounts and the ITC register underlying your GST returns. So this will primarily address your concerns of ITC missed due to backdated entries. So you will be able to get your hands on the input tax credit that is accounted in your books but has not been transitioned into your ITC registers of GST returns. The next thing that you can do is undertake a reconciliation between ITC that is auto-populated either in 2A or in 2B as the base with the ITC registers underlying your GST returns. Now, this would primarily create a lot of back and forth correspondence like क्यों invoice upload किया, किसका invoice upload किया, what kind of credits are auto-populating which do not belong to you. But at the end of it, you will definitely be left with a lot of peace of mind to understand whether the credits belong to you or not in the first place and have you actually missed any ITC. So close your 2A, 2B and ITC reconciliation before filing the September month's return. The next checkpoint up in line is issuing tax credit notes after September's return. Now, after filing September's return, let us say any of your customer walks up to you and insists for a return or a refund of a sale made in the last year. All response that you can give is, it's too late now. The reason why it is late is because the last date to issue tax credit note for invoices pertaining to the last financial year is 30th of September. Once your September month's return is filed, there is no absolute way you can issue any tax credit note and get back the money of GST that has already gone to the government. So reach out to your customers and inform them that this is going to be the last date after which you are definitely not going to accept any requests for returns or refunds. Now, in instances where certain sale invoices have been long pending for customer approval, freeze and finalize the sales value. If there are any requirement for you to issue a tax credit note and undertake a downward revision in the value of the supplies that you have already made, execute it and report that tax credit note in your GST return of September. So we hope by the end of this video, you have got a sneak peek into the line of activities that you have to do before filing your September's return. This is principally the reason why September's return is considered to be singularly the most crucial return in GST. This video is brought to you by Filing Hour, India's first financial services aggregation platform. The application is available on Play Store. Download now.